here in Studio 32 West at Lancaster High School with Principal Radford. And let me start out by saying thank you for your time and for coming here. How do you like Lancaster so far?
I love being back here. I actually started here in '98. I taught here for 7 years. And I've been gone for the last 6, and now I'm back. So I've absolutely loved being back.
How long have you been a principal?
This is my first year as a principal, but I've spent the last 6 years as the vice principal, assistant principal, and now principal.
In schools around the Antelope Valley?
Yeah, in schools around the Antelope Valley. 6 years ago, I got sent out to Little Rock, so I was out there for 2 years, and then I spent a year at Eastside, and then I spent the last 3 years at Palm High.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm back here.
And what did you do right after high school? Just go straight to college? Or?
I did. I graduated from Palm High back in '91, and I went to Cal State San Bernardino. And so I spent the next about 5 years there, and then I actually lived down in that area, down in Ontario, for about 4 or 5 years before I moved back up to the Antelope Valley.
And you planned on being a teacher all through your college years?
No, actually, I went to school with the idea. I have a business degree from Cal State San Bernardino, and my original plan was to go into business of some type, and I actually worked in management at UPS for about 4 years. And you know, at some point in my life, I realized that was not the career path I wanted. So I came back up here, and at the time, Mr. Lara was the assistant principal here at Lancaster High, and he was my teacher at Palmdale High. So I met with him one day, and we were talking, and actually, I'm a teacher at Lancaster High. So, and then, of course, went back to school and got my credential and did all that stuff. But yeah, that's kind of how it started.
How is Lancaster compared to the other schools in the Valley?
It's hard to say that. People ask that all the time, and the real answer is kids are kids. When you're in a room with a bunch of kids, they're the same no matter where you go. With that said, as a school as a whole, I've enjoyed my time here more than I've enjoyed my time at other places. And partially that's because this is where I started, and this is kind of dear to my heart, but also we've got, this year, again, I've been gone 6 years, but we've got really good kids here. We've got supported people, supportive staff, teachers, and it's just been there's a really good energy at this school that I have not seen at other schools.
And how is the budget cut? How is that dealing? How are you dealing with that with being principal?
That's a tough issue. And there's multiple parts to the issue of the budget cut. For one, obviously we have less money to spend, less things we can buy, such as like this Studio 32. Somebody had to pay for the equipment and do things like that. And those are the kind of things you can do when your budgets are a little more flush and you have extra things to do. And I think these are the kind of things that really make a difference in your education, because being allowed to have the opportunity to do something like this is something you'll take with you forever. So that's one part of it, just not having the funds. The other part of it is there's mental parts that go with it. And as you start losing money and we're not allowed to do things, it takes a mental toll on students, on staff, a morale toll. People aren't as excited to be here when you start cutting back and you start, slashing budgets and laying people off and doing those things. It's really hard to keep the excitement about being here and doing all the things we want to do. So I think that's been my biggest challenge, is trying to maintain the morale and keep that excitement up. And regardless of what we have, we're going to do the best we can with what we've got.
All right, thank you. We'd like to switch gears now to some of the questions the students wanted to ask. And first one is, a lot of the students are wondering why the solar panels couldn't be installed during winter break or summer break.
Yeah, I agree. They were supposed to start in June, and while we were on summer break, that was the estimated start date. It didn't happen. They then came to us in August, September, said we'll have it done in 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Well, they tore up the parking lot, and here we are in January, and they're just getting started. So there's lots of reasons that go into it. The fact that they're doing 8 high schools, plus the college, plus other projects in the community. This is kind of a big deal all over the state. People are doing it, so I think they maybe underestimated the time that it would take. But that's a perfect example of it is what it is. We could get upset and we could complain and do all those things, but it's not going to help. It's not going to make it get done quicker. So that's one of those where It'll get done when it gets done, and once it is, it'll be a really good thing for us. But until then, we'll just do the best we can.
All right, another question the students wanted to ask you is, according to the dress code, why can't they wear hats?
Well, and the question answers it, because that's part of the district dress code. The dress code is not a Lancaster High issue. It's a district-wide issue, and as a district, we get together every few years. So hopefully, we can review that at some point and determine if that's an area we want to change or not. But as a district, they've created guidelines for what can and can't be worn. And again, with those guidelines, there were students on the committee, there were parents on the committee, teachers, administrators, the whole works, and they put all that kind of stuff together, and then they send it out. And there is a district dress code, specifically for, they don't want one school to be one way and one school to be the other. They would like it to be a relatively fair and equitable rule for everyone. So to answer the hat question, it's on there, we enforce it.
How is the school culture compared to when you were in high school at this school?
Oh, that's a tough question. I honestly would say the culture here is much better. I think students like being here. It feels like it. There's an excitement about doing things, whether it's something like Studio 32, whether it's some of our athletic teams or ASB or different. There just seems to be more kids involved. And more people involved than what I kind of remember growing up.
Okay. And now switching gears to some less serious questions. Why are the Lakers so good?
Kobe. Come on, best player in the world. Are you kidding me?
Can you teach me how to Dougie?
I can teach you how to Dougie, yes. I do know how to Dougie.
Can I have your social security number?
No, you do not.
Megan Fox or Natalie Portman?
Megan Fox.
All right, that's all the questions we have for today. Thank you, Mr. Radford.
Thank you. You guys are funny.